What's with all of us being here at the sheds as of this moment? It's can't be another meeting. It's most likely that Sir Topham has probably heard that the Queen or the King have actually come back to Saldor for another royal visit again. Well, if Sir Topham has actually gotten all of us here, it must be something important and big for why he's actually called us all here. Must be to do something with that new arrival that just came to the railway earlier this morning, along with some other news that he's actually mentioned.
Well, if it's good news or not, it's definitely news. Besides, we actually might get some extra help from Evening Star as well. She could be other big news with someone. Yeah, that is definitely true. And not to mention, he is a friendly chap and has gotten a lot of steam engines preserved. He has done a lot.
Oh, speaking of which, there's the Topham Hatt right now.
Oh, hello, sir. What brings you here this evening, sir? Must be something related to the railway.
Good evening, engines. I know as you're aware that we have some big news that has recently come about with the railway as of, well, a couple of hours ago. And I have actually been facing some bit of issues with my work in the office as of this moment. And so much so that I was able to get some help from a friend of ours on the other railway. He has been able to get some of you a second chance on this railway. Some of you may like him, others may see him as controversial or just a bit of a jerk. But he is a man that managed to rebuild Britain's railways and give us a chance in the 21st century, along with being independent from the National Railway Network. No rail, sir? Well, last I remember, it's British Railways. But I guess it must have changed a lot since steam engines ran on the mainland last in the 60s. Well, to be fair, we've actually have been working our hardest in more recent months. Not to mention, the express has gotten heavier and heavier due to the increase of tourists that are coming to the island. So, I suppose we could actually get a little help besides the arrival of the new engine that just came.
Well, we'll just have to know what's coming up.
He's also going to be helping out and getting Gordon back into service while he's currently indisposed of at the works as of this moment.
Well, I just figured as much. Since Sir Topham Hatt can't be everywhere all at once, he might actually have to have someone do all the extra jobs that he would actually be normally doing in situations like this. Like different controllers running numerous amounts of railway lines across the entire railway system. True, but we'll also have to find out who's going to be helping out Sir Topham with all his current duties.
I hope you all will give him a very warm welcome, since he's going to be on the railway for a while. Not to mention, he's going to be assisting me.
Well, who's it going to be, sir? Well, here I am. I hope you're all preparing a deputation. You know how Sir Topham hates interferences.
Can someone please stop fighting and tell me what's going on here?
I'm just as confused as James is.
Well, that is when I decided to get a new person to help out with the railway who is known for helping out railways in times like these, as well as also being a skilled engineer and a master restoration master. Everyone, I would like to introduce you to Jack Nigel Gresley. He used to be the director of the other railway for a time, even during my time with my grandfather and my great-grandfather. But he's also wanting to help make the railways modern and efficient.
Don't worry, James. I'm willing to cooperate with you. But I do hope for one thing. If you give me respect, you'll be sure to earn it in return. If you give me grief, they'll be held to pay no matter what goes our way.
So hopefully we can get along without any issues between all of us. The engines looked concerned. Were not pleased by the news that Sir Topham Hatt was telling them. But he was beginning to have doubts of his own. You can't be serious. Him, out of all people you can actually get to help your own son, he actually scrapped steamages on the other railway, and the modernization plan was an utter failure because of his leadership. And you actually did it? But we'll give him credit, he did get Pip and Ebba to join our railway because of local changes. These on the other railway are taking too long. Sir, you're not going to be retiring anytime soon because Mr. Gresley's actually joining the railway, are you? He's not going to replace me as controller of the Northwestern Railway and modernize it. He may modernize some aspects of the railway, but he's willing to keep it to how it actually is known to the public. And he has been a friend to our family for years. He was the only person I could call on such short notice. Beg pardon, sir, but what does he have to do here? Does it have something to do with Gordon and his rebuild? Well, that's partly one of my jobs gonna be here, Duck. But also, I am also planning to work as the railway historian and Sir Topham Hatt's second in command for when he's busy, sick, or has other problems that he might actually be facing, things such as legal troubles. But I do want to get my involvement with the railway, no matter what comes our way. With that being said, I would like you to make him comfortable and feel welcome during his time on the railway. We'll be sure to, sir. After all, he's now part of the railway, so I suppose we can give him a chance as a member of your staff. That's good to hear. And if there's anything you want to ask him or me about, please let us know in advance, since we'll be a little busy. We still got a railway to run, and trains have to keep to time. Very well then. Your engines get some good night's rest. We've got a busy day ahead of us in the morning. I also want to mention one thing. That I want to develop a working relationship with all of you, as well as a connection to all of us, while we're working together as a team to keep the railway moving smoothly. That's all, engines. Have a good night. Good night, sirs.
He seemed very nice and a very polite gentleman. I guess he could actually be really helpful to working us out on the railway.
Well, I don't exactly trust him, especially because he was responsible for cutting rid of steam on the other railway years ago. But we're gonna have to rely on him no matter what. But I'm still keeping my eyes on that Gresley fella. There's no telling what kind of trouble he may actually cause.
You can't judge a book by its cover, James. Evening seems to be friendly and polite, because she's not like Spencer. I have to say the same thing about Mr. Gresley, we saw. Let's hope his changes are for the railway good, for better or for worse.
That's definitely reassuring. But I hope he and Evening don't cause any controversy, especially on Sodor, because of their rivals around the same time like this.
Yeah, hopefully.
As the engines went off to sleep, or some were getting ready to take their night trains, Thomas was left on the sheds, as he wanted to know why Gresley was on the railway this soon, as Evening Star's arrival had actually been so sudden that no one actually knew about it. Same with Gresley. But he would have to put all his hopes on Gresley to see what he can actually do to help make the railway a much more safer and, of course, helpful to all the engines.
Oh, railway historian. I still remember you having that degree still, even though you were the director of the other railway. I still give you some credit and appreciation for being part of a railway system that has lost its standard when it comes to preserving heritage. But you actually do a decent job in preserving railway artifacts as well for the National Collection. Education at Cambridge has come a long way since my days there in the railway history class as well as in the Cambridge Railway Club. I actually worked with British Railways, but it actually was something to get all the engines and rolling stock sold to you, sir. Mostly the engines I was able to save from my own hand, but also the rolling stock that I've been able to give to you as well. Especially with some of the engines not taking a liking to me because of what I actually did back then. I'm sure you'll completely understand. Yes, as a matter of fact, some of the engines don't exactly have the best history. Well, some have been on trial and been sent away. Others have actually been involved before, but only to be sent away, and only returned years later.
I do actually remember your great-grandfather was one of my lecturers during my railway history course that I had at King's College at Cambridge on the mainland.
Yes, I do remember stories like that. My father and my great-grandfather would often go to the mainland and host lectures at Cambridge University. King's College, I believe. It was the same university that you happen to have attended around that same time, along with your railway history professor. He actually said that Sir Charles Topham Hatt the first and second are the most passionate of steam locomotives in history. No, I would actually like you to work on something to get going back into service, especially since I need you to work on his overhaul. Something that pays homage to, like, your father, but also to his history with the NWR.
Yes, definitely, sir. Not to mention, they are the ones responsible for bringing your railway into the public medium on the mainland around the world as well. But also, in terms of pop culture relevance, they actually made this railway extremely popular because the engines are here. And because, like the old song says, his biggest claim to fame for everyone to see that it's the fact-controlled as railway.
Okay, I kinda like that bit where you sung, but I am seeing a fair amount in your point of explanation, Jack. And you do have all of that right. And I have to say, you got a lot to learn about the railway and its operations before you can make any decisions related to modernization or business. Well, I could work out some things that make the A-Zeros quite successful in the latter part of their careers on British railways. I definitely approve, and I suggest that you go for it, Mr. Gresty. Though I would suggest you keep it something in line with our engines and what they would look like to the Northwestern Railway. Yes, sir. These modifications will definitely be an improvement for him. He will most definitely enjoy